I've had several IMGs ask this question. How do you balance full-time job, family, and preparing for these medical exams and ace them really as to meet the competition and get into the system and practice medicine in Canada? Well, if you're new on this channel, please you want to hit like and subscribe as we'll dive deep into this very important question that lots of foreign medical graduates who come to Canada to integrate or the US they do face. Have you ever wondered, like, when you move into Canada, you're not versed with the system, you're still struggling to learn and get some acquaintance with the system? The fees for the exams are pretty high, $3,500 for the NAC and about $1,500 for the QE1. And you're looking at getting a full-time job, which sometimes is not really easy. And even once you have the job, you have to balance between the job, your family, and prepping for the exams. A lot of people find it overwhelming. I keep getting these questions like, how do you do to manage these three major things and still succeed? It can be overwhelming. Balancing work, study, and family is a challenge that many IMGs face. According to studies, about 70% of IMGs report feeling overwhelmed by these demands. Let's break it down for you. You're not just studying for an exams, you're working to support your family, and at the same time, you're adapting to a new culture. It's not an easy thing to handle. Personally, when I first arrived, I didn't know how to manage everything. Between my job, preparing for the MCC QE1 exams, and spending time with my kid, I felt like, it was constantly ruining and emptying me. I felt like my battery was always at like 3%. I needed to recharge all the time. We will dive nitty-gritty into things that you're supposed to do to be able to strive and succeed in the system without necessarily draining yourself. So, how do you manage your time effectively then? The first step is to create a structured schedule. Use tools like Google Calendar or Trello to plan your week. Allocate specific time slots for work, study, and family activities. Remember, flexibility is really important, but having a plan helps you to stay in track. If you just go by the day and how things occur in life, you would not get stuff done. Not especially when you're preparing for a big board exams like the ones we're currently preparing for. So for instance, here's an example of a balanced schedule. Notice how there is dedicated time for each activities, including downtime for relaxation. Studies show that a structured time management can create productivity and can elevate it to up to 25%. For the most part, we do have time, but just that we're not organized. If we organize ourselves as much as possible, it is possible to juggle between these three major things: your board exams, your family, and a full-time job, and still make it big. We need to be organized, be disciplined, be willing and able to say no, be able to discipline yourself, stop the scrolling. That ain't going to take you anywhere. Put the phone down, discipline yourself, say no to people who are calling and disturbing when you're supposed to be focused on doing stuff that is helpful for you. I learned to prioritize by asking myself, what will have the greatest impact with me on this particular task that I'm about to do this week? This helps me focus on what's truly important, because I knew I had my day job, there's a schedule that I can't change, but then the other times, what can I fix? What can I change? What can I move around? I truly had to think about it and plan, and I learned how to learn, and I unlearned things that were not good. It's better to learn how to learn. You don't have to do all this alone. Leverage support systems around you. Connect with other IMGs, through online forums. There's many online forums. There is IMGA. There is many other groups that support international medical graduates all across Canada. You can adhere to these groups. There's a Catholic community, and you can go to local community groups. Sharing an experience can be incredibly helpful. You can hear another one's story and how they did. Me personally, when I came, I started prepping for the QE1 exams, which is the one that I wrote and passed. Got a full-time job at the time. I was working full-time. I was able to juggle myself. So what I would do is I would have ample time to rest. I'll get up very early in the morning. I was a very morning person, so I'll get up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning or 4 a.m. because, again, I wanted to make use of that morning cortisol, which is secreted, in the second half of the morning. And I'll study till 6 a.m. in the morning. Then after that, I have prayers that I will do with my family. After the prayers, I'll do exercises, get breakfast with my family, get a shower, get into the car, and drive to the office. Once at the office, I'm pretty focused. I have an app on my phone that blocks all social media, blocks everything so that I can focus my time on really what is important. Then once I come back, I had an hour and a half with family. We'll spend time with chat, we'll eat, and then I could check social media at that time. And then after that, I joined my study group from the evening, and we studied till sometime around 8:30, 9 p.m. at night, which then after that I then did again another evening prayers and a devotion with my family, and then I went to bed. And again to repeat the cycle, 3:30 in the morning. So if you're sleeping from 9 to 3:30, you're getting your 6 hours, but the rest of your day is pretty productive. So that is a strategy I did adopt in order to improve. Say in Canada, for instance, many provinces have IMG associations that offer mentorships and resources. In the US, look for local IMG networks online and communities on Facebook, and you can be able to join these communities and they can give you some support. It is crucial to remain flexible. Life as an IMG is very unpredictable, and sometimes plans change. Allow yourself the grace to adapt, and remember to prioritize self-care, because again, you need to be healthy in order to carry out all of these activities. Whether it is a short walk, a hobby that you can do from time to time, a meditation time, for activities that recharge you, please do not neglect this. Make sure to remember where to find it. Research shows that regular self-care can reduce stress and improve overall well-being by at least almost 50%. So I'm going to take you straight away to some practical examples. First, consider part-time work that offers flexible hours. If you're not able to get a full-time job, you can consider part-time work. If you're able to get a full-time job, that's really great for you because again, you are able to pay your rent and your utilities, which a lot of people have to juggle, and maybe both partners, husband and wife, or I don't know, whatever the situation might be, they're able to go out there and work. So if you're able to get a well-paid part-time work that has a flexible schedule, that will really be the best one. This allows you to focus more on your studies and families. And secondly, communicate openly with your family about your schedule and commitment. So let them know that you wouldn't be so much available for them as you had been in the past. If you communicate well, they are pretty much ready to support you through the journey. Involve them as much as possible. And finally, don't hesitate to speak and seek professional advice and help. Career counselors and financial advisors are there, and they can provide you with tailored guidance based on your specific situations. If you need some financial support, there's financial groups. I've seen that in Ontario, there's some groups that are ready to support international medical graduate, minority groups that are there to support, foreign trained physician as a whole. Balancing work, study, and family as an IMG is no small feat. But with the right strategy, it is absolutely possible. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. There are usually lots of complications. Make sure also to remember that you have your specific objectives and that there's a list of things that you need to consider. For instance, as you're getting to the system, you have to know the cost of living. When you're choosing your city, there's a video that I've done on cities that are IMG friendly. You want to check on that video. You have to know the cost of living in a specific city where you're going to live, the job opportunities that are there, how expensive life is. You have to consider all these factors. You have to consider the examination fees. They're pretty fixed. You can't do anything about it, all right? That is pretty standard. You have to check on means. There are some people who decide to go into student loan so they can get loans from banks and then they can repay them once they finally get to the system. But that's pretty tricky because how then do you know you're going to get into the system? There's no short, straight way. You have to work really hard in order to make it there. And then you have to, you can delay getting into the workforce. If you've saved lots of money that can support you for a year, emergency fund, in that time, you can really put in all your energy, beat it as hard as possible to get into the system within 1 year. That will be the best bet that you can have. And also, there is lots of issues with unemployment. And sometimes you can start looking for a job and you don't have it. So make sure you prepare really adequately. So the things to recap on this video: balancing work, life, and family, it's pretty difficult. Balancing studies, work, and family is pretty hard for an IMG. So the things that you're supposed to do is have a schedule, talk to professionals, communicate with your family, make sure that you're studying hard, you're studying smart, you're not just overly reading. Make sure you communicate with your boss at your work site. And if you can have a part-time job, that would really be better. If you are unable to have a part-time job but you have a full-time job, make sure you organize yourself very well. Get enough sleep. Make use of those for early morning hours where everything is fresh and cortisol is still being secreted in your body. Well, for me personally, that's what I did, and I found it super important and really helpful. So, but everyone has a specific strategy. Know yourself, know what works best for you, and try as much as possible to follow your body, listen to your soul and mind, and please cut the scrolling. Social media should be 100 on your list, not even close. Shut it down. There are apps online that can shut down your phone. You can really make it harder for yourself to unblock those apps. And make sure you focus. Go on social media only when you need help and you really need help. Stop the scrolling. It's not important. So if you found this video important, I would like you to hit subscribe and share. And if you have any questions, we're really happy and willing to support you. And until then, peace.